A baseball flex, Shasky. I don't think we'll be called clowns with this flex. No. I think the internet will be kind to us.
I don't care about the internet.
I know, I don't either. I don't give a damn. You know, it's funny. The internet is so funny.
Fake internet crap.
Well, today we're clowns for talking about baseball just in general.
Yeah, probably. It's funny now. The internet starting to say, man, we get paid this month. They're starting to dip into our pockets, which is funny. Don't worry about what we're making. We're about getting your ass a job, getting off the couch. Anyway, Willard and Dibs coming up for a little changeover. Willard, hey, man, we missed your Friday.
Up, boys?
Happy birthday to Papa Willard.
Yeah,
80
man.
years old.
Yep.
Congratulations. Congratulations to Pops. Happy birthday to Pops.
Pastor Robles?
Pastor Robles was an unbelievable weekend. They're just texting with us. They stayed till today, so they're
Nice.
just heading home now.
What was the weather like?
Similar to here, like back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, like we play golf and it was misting on
Where'd
the
you go?
6th hole. Just past Robles Golf Club.
Nice.
It's like it's chill. But anyway, yeah, it's like misting on the 6th hole and you get a sunburn on the 12th hole. One of those
love
weekends.
Those are fun.
Anyway, we celebrated his 80th by me acting 80 years old. I was looking at him the whole weekend going, dude, I thought we were here to celebrate the fact that you were old. Even our boss today is 50 years old. We are celebrating everybody else being old, and I celebrated by back spasms on the golf course
What?
and a migraine on Friday night to miss dinner. But other than that, great weekend.
Have you had
Great weekend.
back injuries before?
Not much. I get twice a year.
Lower, upper?
Yeah, lower. Just the spasms. You know, when I got it, like, get out of the car and did the, like, all right, let's
no.
loosen up. And I moved the shoulder side to side and went, oh, damn it.
That stinks.
So I got to get a preview of what old man golf is like. So all arms.
Yeah.
It was just an
and
all
you'll
arms
never
day.
lose a ball the rest of your
Never
career.
lost a ball.
130
Yeah.
down the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we got Mike.
Let's get Dibs on here. Let's get Dan Dibley here on the radio show. No, we're still not there.
Oh, yeah. By the way, congratulations to Joe Spinoni. I don't think we said that all morning, but Papa times two. Times two. And Dibs' mic is still not on.
Still not working.
You can share a mic with Mark Willard if you want.
This is
How's that? Is that better?
damn it. My
Was that
plan
on
al-
you, Dibs?
My plan almost
it's not
worked.
on me because whoever uses this mic, lay off. And, I'm over there with Butcher Boy. Our mic is fine. Yeah.
Well, it's
That mic, the Bonte Steiny mic, it's broken
It's
constantly.
always fine with me. It's not fine in the middays.
Huh?
Because, Willard and Steiny are always doing this stuff and this stuff. And
Easy,
this
Joe.
and
That's our mic, Joe.
My anxiety is hitting hard.
I was doing the Steiny.
Totally. A lot of this, too. The
adjustment.
double
You
twist.
you grow up watching Eddie Vedder, man. You have to hold that mic. You got to move that thing around. Hold that thing like a mic. How many have I broken? What's my list? I've broken at least 2 of those. But so anyway, my bad. My fault.
What did you guys enjoy the most about this weekend? Was it the Wilt Series? Was it the Youngsters Friday night for the Warriors?
Baby Dubs.
Was it the NFL yesterday?
Keep going. I would
College?
say, Georgia over Tennessee.
It was the Toto Challenge for the LPGA. It was,
it's
wasn't
pretty
it?
nice. Although we do have LPGA Stage 2 qualifying school this week.
Is it?
Shout out Kathleen Scavo out of Benicia.
Oh.
Big fan of Kathleen. She's trying to make it on the tour. So
I'll give you 2 others.
Give me college?
The end of the Rams season
Oh, so
and the
great.
end of Aaron Rodgers' career. So that was
Ayahuasca.
Are you really
going
going to... You think he's done?
No, I don't think he's
Yeah.
done, but I do think that, look,
He didn't give up yesterday.
He didn't give
He said
up.
that in the post game.
He didn't give up.
No, he gave up
didn't give
3
up.
Yeah, that's
interceptions to my
nice.
fantasy
That's
team.
nice. So he
and
He
I'm
said he
benching
did
him.
not give up.
So Yoda showed up and said, thanks for trying. That's awesome. It's really great that you
Thank you.
tried, Aaron. Look, let's shout back to what was a week and a half of radio here on Draymond Green. I just feel like the way you treat people matters. And Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are 2 players this year in the NFL who have been outed as players who actually are not good leaders. They're good football players that had great careers, but they have got teammates lined up, past and present, lined up to just be like, dude, we never liked you, and now that you're not playing well, we would like to celebrate the fact that you're not playing well and point out that we never liked you.
Is the Devontae Adams, because I know Greg Jennings came out, he crushed him, Donald Drivers crushed him. There's been a lot of guys. But, I feel like I still haven't gotten a great explanation on Devontae leaving Green Bay. Okay, he doesn't want to live in Wisconsin. I get that. How many guys were offered the exact same amount of money or more, I guess, and left a Hall of Fame quarterback? Like, there's more to that story, no?
Did y'all ever buy it? I've always wanted to wear the silver and black. It's like, like they're not in California anymore. Like, this is not Fresno. You're in Vegas.
Yeah.
But he's from the Bay, Palo Alto.
I understand
I covered him at Palo Alto High.
So if they were playing in
Palo
Oakland,
Alto Vikings.
If they were still playing in Oakland, maybe I would believe this more. But they're not. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada, and you left Aaron Rodgers to go to, remember now, what at the time felt clearly the worst of the 4 quarterbacks in the division.
Yeah.
Sorry, Raider fans. I know now that my DMs just went crazy because I said that out loud. But going into the year, who leaves Aaron Rodgers to be like, I want to be with the 4th best quarterback in the division? I saw you tweeting about Derek Carr yesterday.
Yeah, I just, you watch that game, you kind of saw, we've seen that Raider game before. We've seen it for
decades
20 years? 20 years. And it's just like, whenever you need it play from DC, it just doesn't happen. And then he gets the finger pointing and he's yelling and he's doing all that stuff. I'm like, dude, you're not good enough to do all that.
The head coach they brought in is a guy who has failed before. He's refused a gig before. He's a classic, I'm a coordinator, not a head coach guy.
Yes.
And, Derek Carr he's a good quarterback. He's Jimmy Garoppolo without the winning percentage is what he is. I mean, he's probably a better thrower of the ball, but he makes more negative plays than our beloved Jimmy G does.
He holds on to it forever.
Yes, and he's more apt to make the big mistake than Jimmy G is. I mean, Jimmy G is an elite game manager. Derek Carr is a wannabe elite quarterback who doesn't play well enough.
That's well said.
The Raiders are just exactly what we kind of thought they would be.
You must be spitting some fire right now because it's really fun. My angle is to watch you talk Raiders with Raider fan Spadoni right over your right shoulder. He was nodding that entire time. He loved everything that you just said.
Spadoni's been gone on paternity leave. Shout out baby Nora, just gorgeous newborn.
But, congratulations.
Spadoni has not been sitting at home.
For everybody,
he's not been sitting at home swaddling and changing diapers exclusively. He's also been locked in. Locked In Raiders, Locked In Diaper podcast with Spadoni and I coming up, by the way.
On
the Locked In Podcast Network, Locked On Diapers. But
locked in diapers. Don't keep it locked in the diaper. But anyway,
from silver and black, this is actually brown and yellow. It will be the name.
Brown and yellow, brown and yellow.
Yeah. He and I know the top 5 butt creams coming up. But
gosh.
The Raiders have been so bad. Seriously, there's not enough butt paste for the Las Vegas
Can we go
Raiders.
to what you're trying to say, please?
No, I can't. I mean, I'm sleep deprived. I got
goo goo.
Thank you. The Raiders are a mess, okay? I haven't seen a mess that bad since about 1:30 this morning, okay? There, I said it.
What about the World Series, Mark?
Yeah, you're not sitting it out. You're still in there.
Barely. We're getting through it. We're almost in the pull-ups, man. Pull-ups are coming. Potty training is coming. Although we did have an episode of Swim Class last Friday. Before we hit the pool, something comes down the leg, and I'm like, oh no, baby Tess, I'm running for paper towels. She was a little embarrassed. She didn't have her best day in swim class. Still got through it. Still swam.
I hope you did what you're supposed to do in that situation.
Get her a Paul Pierce jersey.
You're supposed to go Doogie.
No, what that was? It was number one. Number one. I knew it would go over his head. That's okay. It's okay.
Shout out The Wire, Doogie from The Wire.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You were asking about the World Series. So first off,
I still don't get it.
Awesome.
I'm still caught up in League Pass watching the Cavaliers yesterday.
It's
Utah Jazz. Shout out to the Jazz.
16 players homegrown.
Look, I'm so happy for Dusty Baker.
Of course.
I'm so happy for Dusty Baker. And I also just kept thinking, what is the statute of limitations on hating a baseball team? Because so many people are like, we're rooting against the Astros. And I wanted to go around individually to each of them and go, okay, why? Well, because they cheated. No, they didn't cheat. There's like 2 players left.
Yeah.
This is a new regime. It's like, are you mad at the jersey? Are you mad at the stadium? Who are you mad at?
Manfred for not actually giving a punishment.
Do you root against the White Sox because of the Black Sox scandal 100 years ago? How many years and how many different people do we have to get to before it's okay to just acknowledge the Houston Astros again? And oh, by the way, they did not act alone, and they were not the only team cheating, which has already been proven.
Yeah.
So I don't even understand why so many people are like, oh,
We're jealous of them,
Astros.
too.
I mean,
Everybody ignores the fact that they won 2 games at Dodger Stadium in that World Series.
exactly.
Were there trash cans there? Were there wires there?
Well, I can tell you what I think was going on. I mean, imagine for a moment, one team knows the pitches that are coming and the other team doesn't. Wouldn't the team that knows what's coming blow you out? That's like the 5th graders playing the 1st graders.
Well, the other day, McCullers.
and
they
it wasn't
claimed-
that.
But you still have to hit 95.
Yes,
I
thank
mean,
you.
it's not as
Right,
easy
but
as
my point
Mike,
is,
you know,
like-
when Tampa Bay knew the Raiders' plays based on the cadence, that was a different story. That was a blowout. Tampa knew what was coming. They knew the signals because John Gruden had been in Oakland in the Super Bowl, and so that's what you got. You got a blowout in that Super Bowl. It's not the same as hitting 95 with movement.
I just think in Los Angeles, California, the idea that Houston has figured out technology that is going to make them better than the Los Angeles Dodgers.
big market.
And the Dodgers organization is just like, we're plucky. We're just,
We're underdog.
We've got little guys here that are, homegrown and undersized, and we try hard. Get out of here. Get out of here. This is.
I look at them and I marvel. The Astros, like, forget the cheating stuff. Just throw it aside for now. The way that they have developed talent over the top every single year, replenish. They're bold when they need to trade for Garrett Cole or Zach Greinke, who he referenced, or Verlander. They sign a guy, they let a guy go. I mean, they lose Springer, they lose Correa. We've got Tucker, we've got Yordan Alvarez. Oh, and we've got the World Series MVP who just won a Gold Glove at 22 years old in Pena. I marvel at how they've constructed their team and how good they've been the last couple of years. And they play a brand of baseball that's really fun.
And one of the guys that was at the center of all that building, that's why the Giants went and took him. That's what they're trying to get a piece of that. So
speaking of baseball, since we're here, we'll get to the Warriors in a second. We're spitballing some things about the Giants. And Shohei Ohtani came up. Mm-hmm. And Shasky's talking about the prospects, top 3 prospects.
The article had a
I read it. I read it.
You read
Yeah,
it.
I read
so
it.
there are 3 guys that they were going to trade.
Well, it's 4
Harrison.
guys.
Well, 4, excuse
but
me.
3,
VR,
Yeah.
Harrison, was it Matos?
And Luciano.
For Shohei for 1 year. And you're telling me if Giants fans could sign up for 1 year of Shohei and Aaron Judge, you wouldn't do that?
Oh,
Well,
you
of course-
would.
of course you
would
do
the
that.
Angels take those prospects?
Right.
Because what we know about those prospects now as opposed to a year ago is completely different. Because Harrison, you're the real deal. Matos is a huge question mark, and Luciano, he's not exactly exploding through the ranks. And David VR, quaint little player.
Matos is the only one who dropped a little bit last year. Luciano was hurt.
Yeah.
He was
And then he
very
came
good.
back and was good.
Yeah,
Back
he was very
injury,
good when he
right?
played.
Back injury?
Yeah. So
But was it Double-A was the highest he rose to?
Yeah, well, he missed a good portion of the season, so he didn't
and
move up.
Matos
but
was hit 190 or 200.
and actually, no, I'm sorry. Luciano didn't even get to Double-A. Luciano's in Eugene.
Yeah, so
Eugene.
I mean, those are huge question marks.
Well, listen, I will say this. As you sit here and spend so much time talking Wiseman and Kuminga, I think it's a time where the Bay Area sports fan is like, and then Christian McCaffrey's acquisition, we are in F them picks mode. Which is It also means bleep the future.
I like that
right?
mode.
And I don't hate the mode.
Rams.
I don't hate the mode at all. You're right. Now the Rams are paying the piper, and
And
that
look at the
absolutely.
Red Sox.
But they got that Lombardi.
But they
though.
also
No,
got
I
a
know.
trophy.
So-
I guess I'd look at it this way. There's a 0 issue giving up the top 3 prospects for Ohtani.
Really?
The issue is it's only a year.
That's what
I would
that's
need to feel so good about
re-signing
him.
Agreed.
I'd almost feel like I want the announcement the next day on the extension.
5-year deal extendo.
Right, and so I have no idea how that all plays out, and that's why the Angels probably should have traded him last trade deadline because right now, every day that goes by, the price goes down. Guy's about to be a free agent.
Until the deadline when he's, 8-0 at the break with 21 home runs, then the price goes back up.
But you still don't get somebody's top 3 prospects for a deadline
at that
acquisition.
point,
Like,
You might get a better team's prospects because the Giants, if those are the Giants' top 3 prospects, there are other teams that have a better top 3 prospects. And you might get more than that at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those are all top 100 prospects,
Harrison Harrison's the best lefty prospect in baseball by most accounts.
That's a big acquisition. Kyle Harrison is not to be, tossed aside as nothing. So
and trading a top prospect has worked out for the Giants before in terms of pitching. Zach Wheeler. There's a deal that really worked out. Zach Wheeler's in the World Series. They got Carlos Beltran for 6 weeks.
Yeah, but Wheeler didn't do anything until like 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
That was in 2011. They literally had to wait 7 years for Wheeler.
But what has he done subsequently?
But he would have been a
Carlos
Giant.
Beltran was there for 2 months.
He would have been a Giant at that point. Odds are, you do that deal, Beltran. I get what the Giants
could
are
have
doing.
been a forever Giant.
They were at first place, and he gets hurt with the wrist, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a crap and leave," and they go back and win the World Series. The Zach Wheeler deal, I would do that again and again and again and again.
Yeah, I ripped it then, and I continue to rip.
They
it
also
was a
traded
bad
Tim
trade.
Alderson for Freddie Sanchez. That worked out great. Alderson never ever saw the bigs.
Listen,
he was a top prospect.
I feel where both of you come from on that, but the bottom line is this has also changed through those 7 years.
For sure.
Teams do not give up number one prospects for rentals anymore.
It's for team-controlled players under arbitration for multiple years.
When the Dodgers gave up what they gave up for Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, it was because Trey Turner was not going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and they knew they were getting at least a year and a half. And they did. They guaranteed they'd win a World Series. And they didn't. And they didn't. Now they're probably going to lose Trey Turner. But anyway, that's what I would say. I would really hesitate unless, and this is for any team, unless you are just beyond confident, if not assured, that you're going to be able to re-sign Ohtani.
So if Ohtani's not a rental and he's $300 million, can you afford to pay Judge $300 million? I mean, is that part of the? Thank you. Is that part of the Farhan plan to where you're going to pay Ohtani $30+ a year and Judge $30+ a year? Is that the way he's going to go about it?
I mean, probably not.
Right. That's against everything that is his ethos.
So would you rather sign Judge as a free agent or give up prospects to get Ohtani?
Okay, this is what's so fascinating, though. You just said the one thing that I think we've all accepted, and there's some truth to it. That's against everything that's within Farhan's ethos.
To this point.
Right.
To this point. We'll see if he
Remember
changes.
what Bags also said a week ago, and this is very, very true. The plan all along was to spend this offseason. The problem is the plan was to also be getting prospects out of the farm system right now, and that hasn't happened. So you have to accelerate when you're going to spend because worst attendance in the history of this ballpark. And so that's why I think the bus is now being probably driven above Farhan's head.
So he brought up a great point. Like, let's say Judge says no. You can't just spend to spend. Like Rizzo. We were kicking around Rizzo, whether you like Rizzo or not or whatever. And I'm like, if you don't get Judge, like, they're going to be in a really tough spot because part of what kind of got them in the position that they were in when Farhan took over, you didn't get Greinke. You pivoted and you got the two lesser guys in Cueto and Samardzija. You didn't get Jansen, and you got the lesser guy in Mark Melancon.
Well, I mean, the bottom line, there's two things here. One, they've said, we're not going to be outbid. And that's a powerful place to be when you hit the market. So they're going to get players. The other thing is, though, I think it's funny. Remember the other thing they said going into the offseason? We absolutely, unequivocally need to get younger and more athletic.
Which is undeniable.
If you respond to that by getting Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge...
Well, Judge, you can make an argument for.
Right. Sure.
But
I'm not saying don't get
Judge.
But you're just going to have to do a bunch of other stuff, too.
I need Trey Turner. I need speed.
Well,
I need
so does
pitching.
he. So does he. Aaron's not coming.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right. So
Aaron's not coming unless you bring some other guys because I don't think Aaron, to the point of waiting for Shohei Ohtani a year from now and waiting on prospects that we have no idea about, is Judge willing to sign up for that when he's tasted the ALCS numerous times and he's tasted big playoff games numerous times, and you come here and you're like, well, Luciano may not be here in 2024. We hope he is, but he may not. Kyle Harrison, he's the best lefty prospect, but he may come up to the league and get rocked by the Dodgers or Padres and the Diamondbacks, and all of a sudden he's not that best. He's not that prospect we all thought he was. It's a big risk. That's why I think you got to go all in. If you go all in on Judge, you got to go in on everybody, right? DeGrom, Verlander, whoever. I'm just throwing names out there. But if you don't get Judge, I'm willing to sit back as a fan and say, you know what? It's going to be another long year. I get there's going to be empty seats. Play the course. Play the course with the prospects.
And that's the danger of all this.
That's where I'm at.
Why are you shaking your head?
I'm shaking my head because you can't afford to play the course again. The attendance is lower than it's ever been.
They won't do that.
You're coming off the worst possible year at 81 and 81. And that thing is a disaster
It
right
is a
now
disaster.
in terms of the casual fans.
Well,
We're all hardcore baseball fans. We're all going to go to as many Giants games as we're going to go to because we love ball.
Yeah.
We love this product. But the average fan has already halfway tuned out this product.
my mother-in-law.
And if you come, if you
Exactly.
come back with this band of no names, and like Mark was saying, hey, we got Longo back, and don't miss one more run of the Brandons.
You know what I get worried about, Dibs, though? What I get worried about, if they miss out on Aaron Judge, so what Butcher was saying about missing out on these other players in yesteryear, Greinke and Jansen and Bryce Harper.
That's how they
You
operate.
go overpay for somebody else who's
Yeah.
mediocre, and now you're stuck with a bad contract. You go overpay for a guy like Rizzo, right? Without Aaron Judge, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, why'd you do that? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I get afraid of when it comes to Aaron Judge.
Rizzo's a candidate though, because that's not going to be a long-term deal. Like I think that there are going to be spots where they want to go long-term. If it's a Judge, is it an Ohtani? Is it a Correa? Is it a Turner? Outside of that, they're probably going to also be willing to spend, but in spurts, like very similar to what they did with Rodon. Rodon opted out last night, and his wife went to Twitter and went, "Oh my gosh, my Twitter's going crazy right now." And so the reason everyone thinks that the Giants aren't going to re-sign Rodon, even though they need a Rodon, is that they can go probably get a Verlander or a DeGrom or whatever for a higher average, but 1 or 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're going to do.
I'm
as far
good
as
off
the pitching
giving
is
Rodon
concerned.
5 years.
Well, and for me, honestly, Monte, as a fan, I don't care about bad contracts. I just want a good product because they're going to charge me $17 for a beer. Tickets are already through the roof. Parking is astronomical. The Cha-Cha Bowl isn't what it once was.
delicious, though.
Back in Candlestick, you used to be able to get a chocolate malt carnation for $3.25. You can't even breathe in there for $3.25. So
Go
those
get Aaron
prices-
Judge, and those prices may be higher.
No, but they're not coming down, is my point.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're not coming down.
They're only
If
going
they
to go
don't sign
higher.
anyone, they're not going
Right.
to say, hey, you know what? We didn't sign anyone. We're slashing prices. Everything must go.
Not
To your
this
point.
state.
To your point,
Thank you.
Dombrowski, who everyone's praising right now in Philadelphia. We were talking about him earlier. He's taken 4 different teams to the World Series, and he's notoriously known as a guy who will fix your problem. He will spend, he will gut your team, trade everyone away. You'll get to a World Series. You may not win it, but you'll get to one. And I'm looking at Philadelphia, and I'm like, okay, they had a great run. They barely get into the playoffs. What, 87 wins, Mark?
87
wins. They had a great run, and it was magical. Now what?
Right, and by the way,
And is that fair for me to even say that?
Do you want a stat that Philadelphians? You remember Howard Eskin came on our show and
Strikeout?
blew the Phillies off as far as their playoff prospects, and here's why. And I think it was him who said this to us last week. If you take away the Washington Nationals, the Phillies were a 500 team last year. So
They were the
I
Giants.
think they were 15-4 against the Nats.
correct. So they were 12 games over 500 in the regular season. They were 12 games over 500 against Washington. So there you go. It's not really that great of a baseball team. They went on a run, and so that's wonderful.
It's kind of like the 107-win Giants, who
could-
were
I mean-
28 games above 500 against Arizona and Colorado.
and Colorado, sure,
32
exactly.
and 6.
Yeah.
32 and 6.
So if you have data like that, like sometimes, sure, you can put lipstick on your pig, if you will, and it makes it look okay
Suey.
for a little while. But that's not what you want. That's not what you want. That's not going to work against the Dodgers and the Padres.
And I'm looking at Philly, and I'm like, they spent a ton of money, and everyone loves Schwarber today, right? And Schwarber can hit. We all
hit
know that.
bombs.
He does hit bombs. Him bunting at the end of that game, I was like,
That's
what are you
weird.
doing? Like Castellanos,
Brandon
forward,
Beltian is what that was.
waving the white flag. Mm-hmm. You said it.
No, and honestly,
said it.
if you could take a Giants team next year, 87 wins and a run to the World Series, you would take that.
Hell
you would
yeah.
love that.
Of course you would.
As opposed to
Win around.
107 wins and one and done. But
yeah.
I look at that division and you look at how nasty San Diego is. You know, the Dodgers are always going to be devastating with their lineup. I look at the Giants and I think you've got to do something. Either go all in on pitching and get the 5 best pitchers on the planet to try to counteract that, or you need to load up with some bats. You need to give fans reason to want to believe that you can actually compete in your own division.
So
Arizona's
to boil
good,
it
too.
down to like 2 sentences, here's what's happening, I think, this offseason. Farhan has always been focused solely on the baseball and the financial plan.
That's one sentence.
And now you have the other side, which is attendance.
That's beautiful.
So Farhan has not been doing that. he has not been like, what about attendance? And so that now comes to the party and muddies the whole thing up, and it will probably lead to short-term success in terms of the fan product.
Yeah.
Might lead to some long-term failure, but I think everybody's willing to make that trade right now. In other words, when Aaron Judge is 37, right? Like, that may not be a very good contract.
And I've already vowed that
whoever signs
when that happens, Aaron Judge in orange and black, Aaron Judge is on the 10-day IL with a strained fill in the blank. I will not be critical. I've already made a note.
I made everyone promise.
Yes, and
I made everyone promise.
I signed up on that promise because I want Aaron Judge. I want it bad, but I know that the backside of that baby is not going to be pretty. So the first 4 years are going to be all home runs and all rise and jurors box and gavels for the first 20,000 fans. But when he turns 36 and he's barely able to make it into the batter's box, I've already signed up. Well, I vow that I will not. Oh, this is a bad contract.
Well, I also think there's a selling point. This is going to sound stupid, but he'll be going for 400 or 500 home runs. You're hoping at that point in his career later on, there'll be some milestone sellage as well. And because you have the DH, like there are some things in place that I think are going to help that contract. I was saying, hey, maybe in 2 or 3 years he's taking ground balls at first base. You're 6'8". You know what I mean? Like, you're going to try to squeeze the lemon for every drop on a deal like that. And I think selling the accolades of the individual home run thing, there is something there to baseball fans.
But that's a long way down as a first baseman at 6'8" to go from, a ready position to get down to the ground.
I just want a Judge, see ball, hit ball. You're the DH.
Yeah.
See ball, hit ball.
He's a great outfielder.
Don't even bring a glove. Don't even bring a glove to the. Don't even bring a glove to the yard. Just bring your bat. That's all I need from you. By the way, Warriors Kings tonight. Warriors lose all 5 games. Am I right? We're going to see rotation.
Well,
how you doing, Mark? Where are you at, Mark?
We have a percolation sensation is what we have. Because I promised Dibs last week because I kept blowing off any concern meter. Concern meter was at a 0. Was at a 0, and I told him, I said,
concern now?
If they go 0-5 on the trip, then I will leave 0.
Oh.
So where are you at now?
Now we're at
1. 2.
Yeah, why are you giving it away?
We're at 2.
Hey, should have teased. I was at a 3.5 before the disaster that took place, and good job with the load management, Warriors. Way to rest your guys.
What was that?
And by the way, miss me with Kuminga. He's ready to roll now. He played in a JV game against a New Orleans team you got toyed with in the Bayou. My concern's at a 5.
Good,
I'm 1 or 2 losses away from saying they're a playing team.
Yeah.
This team's in in trouble, Bonte. They're in real trouble.
But to make a point, I listened to the whole thing with Slater. You guys were great with him. Slates was amazing. I mean, if he's going to be on the roster, you have to use him. So anyway, what is the number in this basketball game tonight? What is
the favored by 6?
7.5 last night.
The number is 0 for the amount of minutes that the fans want to see Wiseman get.
Warriors are favored by 8. The Warriors are favored by 8.
So now it's up to 8.
This is a great spot for the Warriors tonight.
Oh.
This is a
Kings
great
always
spot
play
for
them
the
tough, though.
I know.
I get worried.
I know.
Especially down 25. I mean,
they always get down 20. They make a run. And the Warriors hold on for dear life.
How about De'Aaron Fox from 45 lighting it up from way downtown? Look at me with the league pass, Bonte. Somebody put my baby to bed. I'm watching the NBA, kids. Let's go, B. I'm worried about this team, though. Forget the Kings game.
I can hug you right now because this guy is Mr. Warrior. Just stays in his bubble.
What?
And I'm watching the Utah Jazz.
Don't get me started on the Cavaliers. I'll do hours on the Cavaliers.
Now you're trolling
me.
You're trolling me now. That's okay. You're trolling me now. You're trolling me now.
I knew they were 8-1. I knew they were 8-1.
8-1.
I knew they were 8-1.
Don't do that. Don't do that because I'm watching League Pass going to sleep. Come on.
But I'm with you. If we went out in the street and just interviewed people and said, who's the head coach of the fill in the blank?
Yeah.
I got the over under at about 2.5.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a hater. It's just I
know
have
you're
so
right.
much bandwidth.
Well, the idea that
players.
The idea that NBA is not regional and baseball is. Yes, it is.
Thank you, Mark.
The NFL is the only thing that's
more of a national sport than Major League
It's more than baseball, but if you think there are people running around the Bay Area that are like,
of course not.
Rock me that Charlotte-Milwaukee game tonight and I can watch the whole thing?
I never said that. But the Bay Area loves their basketball.
Yes.
Coach K talked about this. Bay Area loves their basketball, and they'll watch teams because we had to watch other teams because the Warriors stunk for so long. So we had to watch the Bulls and the Knicks and the Celtics and the Sixers and the Lakers and all these other teams.
And if you're sleeping on Cleveland with Evan Mobley,
I don't
and
sleep
Donovan
on
Mitchell,
Cleveland.
and Jay Allen,
Don't
and
do this,
D.
Dibs.
Garland.
Yeah.
Don't do this, Dibs.
And don't even get me
I'm
started
just-
on
I'm in a good mood
just-
right now.
Coach,
R.
listen,
I'm in a very
Lopez.
good mood.
I love R. Lopez.
Very good
R.
mood right now.
Lopez.
Oh,
Listen,
very
I'm
good
just
mood.
gonna
C.D.
go. I'm
Osmond.
gonna go out on
C.D.
a limb.
Osmond. He's legit off
Dean
my
Wade,
bench.
Dean
listen.
Wade, big steal in the
Don't
dunk
sleep
yesterday in
on
the third
Dean
quarter.
Wade.
Big names is Kevin Durant against Luka tonight.
Ben Simmons going to play 20 minutes.
And it will be outrated by the Ravens Saints game. Just saying.
No
Go-
doubt.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
football. NFL is king. We all know that. All right, you guys have a good show.
All right, boys.